to start with, I would like to welcome among us our Vice Rector for Internationalization, that's Dr. David de Volens. And first of all, I would ask him to give you a warm welcome and maybe encourage you a bit to take advantage of the mobility programs that FAMNIT offers.
Okay, thank you. Like Tina said, I'm David de Volens. I'm the Vice Rector for Internationalization. As you can probably tell, my accent is not very Slovenian. I'm originally from the United States, so I've had quite a bit of experience of myself going abroad to other places. So my experiences, which I hope that you get to have someday, is to be able to take these opportunities like this to go travel somewhere else, learn what other people are doing, learn about other people's cultures, and what's going on in other parts of the world. I think it's, especially the Erasmus Plus program, is a really good program for you to be able to do this. And I definitely encourage you to do it. I know it's more difficult now than it would be 2 years ago when we had a lot of outgoing exchanges, but hopefully things are getting better. We're fairly hopeful that they are, and I encourage everyone to take the time to look for these opportunities and find a really good place to go in an area you have, and don't be afraid to go somewhere that you don't even know anything about. I think that's even more unique to find out something about people that you really don't know much about and learn more about their cultures. So if you, I know this isn't really part of the Erasmus program too much, but if you do ever, want to look to go into the United States also, and you have questions about how studying and living and working in the US is, feel free to get in touch with me. I know quite a bit about that anyways. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have about those things. So it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'll be here for about another 20 minutes before another meeting, but I'm really just here to listen in and see what everybody is really thinking about, what they want to do, and then hear more about the opportunities that are available to you as students. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Rector. So like the Vice Rector mentioned, we know that the current times are not really optimistic. The main problem is the coronavirus, and most of our students have this doubt whether to think about the exchange or to go on an exchange given the current situation. However, we remain optimistic that the exchanges will be possible in the next academic year. Therefore, I encourage you to think about, to explore your options, to do the plan, what you want to do in the next academic year. But first of all, it's good to know what options you have and how do you need to prepare yourself. So I will just start with the short presentation I prepared. So during today's Erasmus workshop, we will try to answer your questions. Probably the first one is whether to go for a study or a traineeship. What are the requirements to apply to the open call, where to go, and the most important questions, when are the deadlines? So first of all, I would like to start with a few Erasmus basic info. The next open call will be available for the next academic year. That means for study and traineeship exchanges from 1st June 21 to 30 September 22. In case you're thinking about studies, the minimum period abroad needs to be 3 months, while the maximum 12 months. For traineeship, minimum 2 months, maximum 12 months. In case you're applying for a study exchange, you need to be enrolled at least to the 2nd year of the first cycle. In case you're a student of master study programs, then you won't have any problems when applying to the open call. For traineeship, you need to be enrolled at least in the 1st year of the first cycle. And probably the most important information, where can you go? So the countries which are covered in this basic Erasmus open call are EU countries, Liechtenstein, Turkey, Norway, Iceland, and Republic of North Macedonia. So study or traineeship. In the frame of Erasmus program, you can choose between the exchange for the purpose of study, exchange for the purpose of traineeship, and the third option, which most of the students are not familiar with, is the exchange for the purpose of traineeship 1 year after you graduate. So you also have the chance to go on an exchange after you already complete your diploma or your master thesis. And you have 1 year of time to go abroad to do your traineeship or, let's say, research work. So study exchange. If you want to apply for a study exchange, you need to have your student status and you need to have first year of undergraduate study. So you basically need to be enrolled into the second year. When you will be looking through institution and selecting your institution, please do your research and browse through our possibilities, which are covered by the Erasmus agreements, about the comparable study programs, because when you return from the exchange, you will need to go through the recognition process. You can select your institution given the interesting university and programs, offer for mobile students, and a lot of students also decide about their institution based on its location. So for study exchange on our website, you can find a map where we have all our agreements. Currently, we have more than 70 agreements. And on our website, you can basically filter the study program you're interested in. So for example, let's take the red one, that's mathematics. You filter out all the irrelevant study programs. And on the map, you can check where does mathematics have agreements. So all these are the institutions where you can do your study exchange. So for the traineeship exchange, you basically decide based on your own preferences, based on the study program, in case your traineeship is implemented as obligatory traineeship in the frame of your study program. And here the specialty is that you need to find the host on your own. So the requirement to do the traineeship exchange abroad is not that FAMNIT has an established agreement. So you basically can find any institute, faculty, or any other institution that is able to host you and would be happy to host you, and you don't need any previous agreement with that institution. And the third option I mentioned is the traineeship exchange 1 year after you already finish your studies. You go basically as a young graduate, but please be careful here because you need to apply while you still have your student status. So you need to apply for the exchange before you finish your studies. Once you finish your studies, the exchange is not possible anymore. So Erasmus open call for the academic year 21-22 will be divided into 3 smaller open calls. There will be one open call for the first semester, and it will be published approximately in January. There will be one open call for the second semester, and it will be published approximately in April. And there will be a third open call for traineeship that we expect it will be published sometime in the beginning of beginning of spring, at the end of winter. So let's say January, February, March. We don't have the exact dates for the deadlines at the moment, but keep in mind that usually we give 2 weeks of deadline. So I think you will have enough time to successfully prepare your application and also apply for the Erasmus open call. Application is done through the student information system, so through SHIS. There you have the option to apply for the exchange. And beside all that information that will be already filled in your application in SHIS, you will need to give 3 additional supplements. This will be the CV, motivation letter, and proof of knowledge of a foreign language. So for the application for studies, the sheets will give you the option to choose 3 institutions. Here you will be able to choose institutions based on your own preference, and you will be able to choose the institution for the first choice, for the second choice, and for the third choice. I strongly suggest you to fill in all 3 choices, because in case we receive too many applications for the same institution, then we will need to confirm your application to the second institution, or for example, for the third one. In case you don't fill in your second or third choice, then your application will be denied. For traineeship, you select the desired country, okay? So when applying for the traineeship, you don't need to choose any institution or any faculty, university, or anything similar. You basically just decide in which country you want to do your traineeship, and you select that country. So a bit also about the CV. You can provide it in Slovene or English language. And we strongly suggest to our students to include in the CV all your experiences, work experiences as a student, previous traineeships, voluntary work, hobbies, any experiences that are not directly connected to studies, because we like to see where are our students, what they like to do, how do they find themselves in a foreign, abroad, and so on. And also a bit about the motivation letter. It can also be done in Slovene or English language. And since we receive a lot of questions on how to write a motivation letter, we have a few, let's say, suggestions for you. So a good motivation letter should include motivation for the exchange. So why did you decide to apply for the exchange? Students' familiarity with the program at partner institution and justification of the institution selection. We like to see or hear why did you choose that specific institution? Does it offer a program that you're interested in, a specific subject, or is that a professor that you would like to meet? Or I don't know, can they offer you a future career or employment? Basically, like I said in the beginning, why did you decide for this specific institution? Clearly expressed benefits for studies. So how will the exchange help you in your studies, in your traineeship, in your career, or when looking for the employment? And general activity in extracurricular activities. So like I mentioned already at the CV, we like to see what our students are doing also apart from all that obligatory study work and studies and exams and so on. So at this point, I stopped sharing my screen, as this was only a short presentation, and now we are open to any kind of questions. You can just unmute yourself and ask in case.
Proof of knowing a language. What would that proof be?
It can be any kind of certificate if you passed any kind of language, like language subject or test or something similar. It can be confirmation of your Matura exam in case you have English or any other foreign language at the Matura. It can be also confirmation like past subject at FAMNIT in case it is in a foreign language, or in case you are studying the study program which is implemented in English. In that case, you can also just submit your transcript so that or a certificate of enrollment, which gives us the proof that you are enrolled into a study program in foreign language.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Andrei has a question.
Yeah, I have two questions. So
Okay.
we'll first apply. Actually, the first judges to whom we're applying are you guys in the international office, right?
Yeah, when you apply through SHIS international, each international office, a separate faculty receives your application. Then we gather the Commission for International Mobilities and we review all the applications that were received to the open call.
Okay, so you're the first one who decide, who like filter it down and shortlist the candidates.
Yep, that would be us.
Okay, okay. So you said that the certificate of enrollment will suffice as a proof of knowing English if we're enrolled in an English program. Okay. The other thing was, okay, yeah. So if I'm a first year student now, am I able to apply in January and April for the next year or do I have to be second year to apply?
No, in case you're now the first year, you can apply to the open call, and in case your application will be accepted, so confirmed, before you begin your study exchange in the next academic year, we verify if you are enrolled to the second year or not. In case you are not, then you are not able to go to the exchange.
Okay, okay. Okay, I think that's all I have at the moment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry,
Okay.
if I may ask a question as well.
Yeah.
So regarding the application, if it is possible to apply for 2 semesters abroad, because, for example, I'm a master level and I haven't done any exchanges so far. So I'm interested if I can go abroad for a year.
The maximum that you can be abroad in one cycle, so on bachelor or on master study program, is 12 months. So you cannot exceed that quantity of months, sorry. However, at the beginning, we suggest you to apply for 1 semester because we usually divide the financial support to as many students as possible. In case there are still finances that can be split or divided between students, then we usually allow a prolongation also to the second semester. So in your case, yeah, I would apply for the first semester and then ask for the prolongation when the first semester finishes.
Does that mean I will have to supply another application in April
No.
as well? No.
No.
Okay.
No, you apply just once. I mean, you can apply already now from the start, for example, for 10 months. That would be the whole academic year.
Okay.
But when we revise your application, we will still usually confirm it for 1 semester. So that would be for 5 months. And then before you finish the first semester, in case there are still financial means, we can prolong it also for the second semester.
And how do study exchanges and traineeships mix? Can you do both? And do you sum up the time?
You can do both, but not at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, you need to decide first if you want to go on a study or traineeship exchange, but you can, for example, be for 1 semester on study exchange and then in the second semester, for example, on a traineeship exchange. But in this case, be careful because you need to apply 2 times.
Right.
Once for the study exchange and the second time for the traineeship exchange. And both exchanges cannot exceed 12 months.
So if I sum up the time I spent on the study exchange and on the traineeship, that mustn't exceed 12 months.
That's correct.
Okay. I think that's it for now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, then Sven has a question.
Yeah, is it possible to make to go to a faculty that doesn't currently have an Erasmus contract with FAMNIT?
Well, the agreements are usually established if they are proposed from the department. So in case we receive the interest from the department, for example, at FAMNIT, then we start with establishing the agreement. So in case you're interested in institution that we currently don't have the agreement with, then I suggest you to talk with your department coordinator as he or she will be able to advise you whether it would be interesting to us to have an agreement or not. Because we usually don't make the agreements based on one student's interest.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The next question is from Christian Bayat.
Hey, thank you for everything though. On one slide, I think you had the map of all the destinations. Where can we access this map?
I will.
I don't know if you said it or not.
I think I didn't because I already had the connection. But however, I can share the screen and I will show you. You basically go to the FAMNIT web page. So in case you're interested in the Slovenian map, you go to Mednarodno sodelovanje, and here you have the option of sporazume. And you have the map and you have the list of all the agreements. And on the English website, you go to international cooperation and you have the agreements. Again, the map and the list of all the agreements.
Okay, pretty easy then. Thank you very much, though.
You're welcome. Okay, I will go to the chat now for a moment. So Diana is asking, where can you find the experiences of our previous students who were on an exchange in previous years for a specific university? It depends in which university are you interested. We don't collect the experience, but we do, however, have the, let's say, list of students who went on an exchange abroad in the previous academic year, and we can check if anyone was at the institution that interests you. And in that case, we usually then connect students between themselves so that they can get in contact and ask for their opinion, experiences, advices, and so on. The next question is if during the exchange you need to study at the program of a foreign university or based on the program you have at FAMNIT. Okay, so when you go abroad, you basically choose subjects at the foreign institution and you follow that subject. When you're choosing your subjects, be careful about the recognition process, as the purpose of study exchange is to do subjects abroad, which can be then recognized at. So in this case, offer and how can it be recognized at FAMNIT. And there's another question about the credits at FAMNIT and other faculties. Basically, when you're doing your exams abroad, you receive as much credits as the subject is valid abroad. So subjects at FAMNIT are valid for 6 credits. In case the subject abroad is not valid 6 credits, but it's valid less, in that case, you will need to do a few additional credits at FAMNIT once you return from the exchange. But all these things about the recognitions and the subjects needs to be discussed with the program coordinator. So at this point, for the open call, you do not need to choose any subjects or you don't need to think about the recognition process at the moment. Okay, we received another question from Vit, and that was what is the minimum or maximum of credits that you can gain abroad? Yeah, there is a minimum of credits that you need that can be acquired abroad. For the first cycle for all programs, that is 48 credits. If you're on a master study program, then I suggest you to check with Referat Student Services, because it depends from program to program how many credits can you do abroad. Hopefully I'll explain I answered to your questions in the chat. Since I don't receive any feedback, I'm not sure if you have any, additional question or something similar. Yeah, Andrei raised his hands.
Yeah, so you mentioned we make 3 choices. And also we have to, for each subject we're going to potentially listen to on the outgoing institution, we have to have a confirmation from the professor of an equivalent subject that it's equivalent, right?
It depends. If you're doing an obligatory course, then you need to talk with the professor who is teaching the subject. In case you would like to do a broad elective course, in that case, you need to talk with the study program coordinator. And usually we suggest to our students to go for elective courses, as they don't need to be exactly the same as FAMNIT courses. So you can find a subject abroad that is not offered at FAMNIT, and that gives you the chance to listen to something new, to something that you cannot attend at FAMNIT. But still, it needs to be somehow connected to your study program. That's why we suggest to discuss your choice with the coordinator, as he or she is the one to confirm the recognition process once you return from abroad.
Thank you. I'm also wondering, in case we have some subjects that are not elective that are obligatory, we have to make that list for all 3 institutions, right?
No. When you're applying for the exchange, you list just the institution where you want to do your exchange. So it's not necessary to provide the list of courses you would like to listen or anything else. To start with, you just apply for the institutions. Once your application is confirmed, then you move on to preparing the learning agreement, where you specify the subjects you want to listen abroad, and they need to be coordinated with the coordinator.
Okay, and at what stage is it? Are we sure that we're accepted, or what's the terminology?
Usually after the applications are closed, so after the deadlines, it takes usually a month or a month and a half to review all your applications, to grade them, to make the selection of candidates, and then you are informed whether your application was accepted or if it was denied.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, back to the chat questions. Spela is asking if she can go on a traineeship in the summer of 21. Yes, that's the exception. I mean, if you're applying for a study exchange, then you need to follow the academic year. The academic years usually start, let's say semesters, usually start in September, October, while the second one starts in January, February. So that is in case you go on a study exchange. If you want to go on a traineeship, you do not need to follow the let's say study year, so the semester. You can do your traineeship also during the summer, as with this open call that will be published in January 21. You can basically start with traineeship from 1st June until the end of September next year, so September 22. Spela, just give me a reaction if I answered to your question.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, great. Vit is asking about the tuition fees in different countries. No, in case you go on an Erasmus exchange, this open call in the countries that I mentioned in the beginning, you don't have to pay any tuition fee or enrollment fees. So basically what you pay for tuition at FAMNIT is enough. I mean, that's it. Hopefully I answered your question.
Yes, but I was also wondering, you get some money, right, when you go to exchange, like in form of scholarship?
Yeah.
And what about,
Erasmus yeah.
what about if you go, like, differences if you go to Bosnia or if you go to UK, the amount, or is it same? Or how is it?
It depends. If your application for the Erasmus exchange is accepted, you get the scholarship. It's not much. I need to prepare you for that. But however, it's a nice help to cover at least accommodation and a few expenses you will have during your stay. Now, at the moment, I don't have the amounts here for the new open call, but we can check the previous one. Just give me a sec. Okay, I will share my screen. This is the current open call for traineeship until the end of May 21. And basically here you can see the amount for the group number 1. These are high expenses like Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Ireland, Luxembourg, Norway, and so on. For the traineeship is 620, while for the study exchange is 100 euros less. That means 520. Then for the middle group, you have 450. And for the third group, you have 470. This is the scholarship that is currently offered in the current open call for the scholarship, but we cannot give you a precise amount of scholarship for the next academic year. That is usually known during the summer, unfortunately. But since there is no deadline to withdraw from your application, in case you decide that at the end you don't want to go on an exchange, you can withdraw without any, let's say, penalty or fees to pay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I see that Clara raised her hand, but first I would go to the question that is waiting in the chat. And that is if the traineeship is meant only for students and if there is any question regarding the years. Basically, to do the traineeship, you need to have your student status and you need to be enrolled at the faculty. However, we do not check how old are you. I don't know if that answered your question. In case it didn't, let me know. Okay, next question, Clara, you raised your hand.
Yeah, I have one question. Is there a list of the organizations where students did their traineeships and they were satisfied with them? Or is it that we just have to find it ourselves? Or basically, if there's any list of the list that we can, help to orientate ourselves when we find the institutions and want to see if the students were satisfied with them.
Well, actually, we in the international office have a list of all students who went on an exchange and where. It's not a public information as we cannot share it online, but in case you are interested in a specific study program or a specific country, you can write us an email and we can check if we have any suggestions for that country or that institution. Otherwise, we leave to our students to find their host institution as they have a bit more options to where to go and what to do abroad.
Just one question. What if you go abroad? I know a case, and you are looking for institutions, but you do not get the answer from them. Can you help us then that you contact them as well?
I mean, we can write an official email asking them to reply to your email, but usually we're not successful in that, to be honest. It doesn't give you any additional support or help in deciding whether they are prepared to accept you to the exchange or not.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Another question was from Diana. If beside the Erasmus scholarship, can she have another scholarship? Well, in this specific case, we don't check if you have any other scholarship. If your application to the Erasmus exchange is successful, you are awarded with Erasmus scholarship, and that's it. We don't do further check. In case you have also some other scholarship, that is, of course, welcome to you, as it will be easier to survive abroad. Hopefully, I replied to your question. Sorry. Great. Clara raised her hand. Do you have any additional question or?
I did not. Sorry, it's self.
No worries. Do we have any other question at this point? Yeah. Hi, Dora.
Hi. Do you have maybe any advice or resources that we could use to find the institution for our traineeship? Are there particular web pages that have such information, or we need to?
We don't have a particular website. Usually, we also suggest to our students to talk with, professors at the study program, as they might have some connections at other institutes, or at least they know people at our other institutions who could accept you to a study exchange or traineeship exchange. However, in the presentation, I did had one website. Not sure if it's still working or not, though. It's let me just share the screen. It's this one. The way I see it is erasmusintern.org. However, if you write down Erasmus traineeship or something similar, I'm sure you'll get the offers on where to do exchange, or also you can find a list of institutions that are accepting interns or students to traineeship.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Blas has a question.
Yes, thank you for the nice talk. And two comments I have. First of all, I would like to say that I was an Erasmus incoming student who visited FAMNIT 2 years ago, I think. And so I would like to encourage all of you to participate of this program, which is really nice. And for me, it was really helpful because after this incoming experience, I decided to come back as a PhD student now. So I would like to ask you if traineeship are also possible for PhD students.
Yeah, traineeship is also possible for the PhD students. It doesn't really matter if your traineeship is going to be more research work than anything else. However, you can choose between, in case you decide for the traineeship, in case you want to do, I don't know, how should I explain myself? If you want to do the real work, in a company or something, or if you would just like to visit some other institution, research institute, faculty, and so on, to do research work on your field.
Okay, yeah, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have next question from Nicola.
Yes, so in the presentation you said that we can apply for 3 options, right? So what are the, how do you decide to reject someone? What are the restrictions? I don't know. For example, I would really
usually
love to go to my first option and not my second.
Well, okay, to point out, when we are establishing an agreement, we establish the agreement for a limited number of students. Usually that means from 2 to 3 students, but not all agreements are made this way. So if we have, for example, more than 2 or 3 students who applied for the same institution, we go with grading their motivation letter. That's why we strongly suggest to our students to put as much effort as possible to the motivation letter. Another situation on which we usually decide to deny someone's application is a really bad motivation letter and all the other supplements. We receive also CVs where basically we just find out that you're our student, which basically gives us nothing. And motivation letter when it's written only that you would like to go at the institution in Spain because they have an interesting program, which also gives us basically nothing. In that case, these kind of applications are denied. Also, if you don't apply for the correct institution, your application is denied. For example, we received the applications of students who apply to an institution in Spain, but that institution in Spain offers only a study program of psychology and not mathematics, and the student is enrolled to mathematics. So in that case, we cannot confirm his or her application.
Okay. I think that's all. Thank you.
I wanted to do this workshop before you start your Christmas and New Year's holidays, as you will have time to think and do your research, what agreements we have and what other institutions offer. In that case, you will be prepared for the open call. And when applications will be open, I am sure you will choose the correct institutions. Do we have any other question maybe?
Yes. What happens if you don't pass the exams there?
You still need to pass them at FAMNIT.
Yeah, but you don't have like the same subject. If there's some subject that isn't here, it's there, but you can't really pass them here. How do you do that?
Yeah, if you don't pass the subjects at your during your exchange, when you return to FAMNIT, you need to take a subject which is offered at FAMNIT, and you need to pass it here. So in case if it's an obligatory course, it will be the same here or abroad. While in case it's an elective course, then you will have to choose an elective course here at FAMNIT and do it.
And you said before 48 points, you need credit points for one semester.
For computer science, no, for one semester. 48 points is the whole amount of points that you can earn outside. Okay, so that is the maximum that you can pass abroad. You can pass also less credits than 48, for example, 20.
Yeah, but there is probably some limit that you have to pass. You can just pass 5, probably.
You can.
Oh, you can? Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
At the moment, University of Primorska doesn't have a minimum of credits that you need to pass, because until now, we didn't have any experience of a student who didn't pass any exam abroad or didn't earn any credit abroad. In case such cases will come up, then we will need to think about the minimum of credits. But University in Ljubljana, for example, has a minimum. At the University of Primorska, we didn't establish that yet, but
okay.
What is minimum over there? Sorry for interrupting.
Sorry, Milan, I didn't understand.
What is the minimum in Ljubljana for the universities of Ljubljana? What is the minimum?
I am not sure. I would need to go through their rules.
Okay, never mind. I'm just Curious.
No, they have a minimum, but the problem we see is that not all, for example, at FAMNIT, all our courses are valid 6 credit points, but some institutions abroad don't have that many credits. For example, in Austria, an institution has 1 to 2 credits for one subject. So in that case, you basically need to pass 3 subjects that are valid 2 points to gain 6 credits, and that it can be recognized at FAMNIT as one subject. Okay, Nicola has a question.
Yes, so I'm taking some subjects from the next year in this semester, and probably if I pass them all, I won't have anything in the next year, first semester. So is that a problem? No, is that a problem? Can I go to Erasmus without any subjects? I mean,
no.
No. So there's gonna have to be some elective courses I'm gonna have to take.
Yeah, you can, for example, attend courses which will be recognized outside the study program. So they are not requested to finish your studies, but you can, however, attend additional subjects that will be recorded to your diploma supplement. And that also means that you will finish your study program with more credits than requested. But in order to go on an exchange, you need to have at least a few subjects that you plan to attend abroad.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, maybe maybe there will be some elective course that it's inside of computer science in the first semester, and I take, but it's not here. Does that count if I take it? Or do I have to go in the next semester where I have subjects?
No. You can, for example, go on a study exchange in the first semester, even if you don't have any subject at FAMNIT, and you can do a broad course that will be recognized as course which will be at FAMNIT in the second semester.
Okay.
Okay.
So can I? Do I apply for both semesters in the January open call, or is it only for the second semester? I'm not sure how it.
Usually we offer financial support only for one semester, as we want to share the funds we have with as many students as possible.
No.
Therefore,
asking, is it in this January open call? So do I apply for both semesters next year? I mean, can I apply for the first, or do I have to apply for the second one? Because somebody told me that you can apply 1 year earlier only for Erasmus, or is it for the?
Yeah, what was meant with 1 year earlier means that basically until now you had to know when you will go on your exchange already in January. That would mean that if you would like to go in the second semester, you had to think 1 year ahead. Now that we are dividing the big open call into 3 smallers, you basically can apply for the first or the second semester. The applications for the first semester will be approximately in January. And if you are interested in an exchange in the first semester, you apply to that call. In case you are interested in an exchange in the second semester, then you just wait for the second call, which will be probably published sometime in April. Yeah.
Right. So, okay, I get it. I thought there was in the application I choose the semester, but the open calls are for choosing. Okay.
Yeah, until now we had one open call, and in that open call you had to decide whether you want to go in the exchange in the first semester, the second semester, or in traineeship. But this year we divided this into 3 smaller open calls, and you basically apply to the open call you are interested in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one more question. Since I'm really not sure yet what semester I'm gonna go, so can I apply in January for the first semester next year? And if I decide to go to the second one, I can switch in the next application in April.
You can switch, but we approve the switch with, let's say, a believable reason.
Mhm.
We want to have an explanation why do you want to switch the semester, or is a subject happening, is a subject you're interested in happening in the second semester, or it's better for your study program to go in the second semester. We need a reason why you want to switch semester.
Right, right. Okay.
Because otherwise everyone would just, you know, switch however they want.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's continue. Georgia raised his hand.
Yes, hi. So it's a similar question, like Nicholas. So in the second semester of the second year of master programs, you don't really have any courses by default. That's the plan. But I sort of already have an idea who I want for my advisor, and I'm not entirely interested in getting a new one at a foreign institution. So could I, even without those courses, apply for an exchange in the second semester and just pass additional courses for, because there are some subjects that I'm interested in that we don't have at the university,
Yeah,
but they're offered
of course. You can go, I know that on your data science.
Mathematics, but it's the same.
Mathematics, okay. However, some of our study programs on master cycle don't have any subjects in the second semester. Therefore, we suggest to our students to go on a study exchange to attend additional subjects, or maybe even to write their master thesis.
What's the procedure for that? Just, I mean,
I knew that you'd be interested in. No, basically, you need to write a thesis abroad, you need to have a mentor at FAMNIT, but in the time you are abroad, you need to have like a substitute mentor at a foreign institution that can mentor you during your writing. Usually we suggest that option to students who have a specific idea about the research work, or if they want to work with a specific professor there. In that case, they go on a study exchange for the purpose of writing a master thesis, and they spend their time there to do research, to write their thesis with a specific professor, mentor they are interested in working with.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So many questions. Okay, we continue. Next one was Clara, I think.
Hello, I just wanted to encourage all of them, all of the students that are still thinking about Erasmus to go, because I went 2 years ago to Coimbra and it was an amazing experience. But one thing you have to prepare for is the fact that even though you check all the programs and all the courses that are there, sometimes the curriculums change. For instance, I had to change my classes 2 times because the courses were overlapping and so on. And you need to be able to, you know, adapt and be open for new things. And you never know what's gonna await you there. So you have to go. That's what I would say, because it was amazing. But we prepared for anything and everything and a lot of paperwork. But do not despair in the meantime, because it's worth it at the end.
Thank you, Clara, for sharing. We are always happy to hear the experiences of our previous students.
That's it.
We are aware that there is quite some paperwork to do before you actually go abroad. But until now, we successfully managed all of our students, and all of them successfully finished their exchanges. So I'm sure the same will happen also to you who are interested in doing an exchange. We have one question from Diana in the chat, and that is, if more students apply for the same exchange, how do we choose the candidates? If it's crucial to have a good motivation letter or CV, or maybe the average grade and so on. At the moment, we actually don't have a limited number of students to who we confirm the application. we try to confirm the application to the exchange to all of the students who apply to the exchange. If there are really bad applications, like I mentioned previously, like really bad motivation letter or really short CV, in that case, we unfortunately need to deny the application. But in other cases, we do our best to confirm them. In case we have too many students for the same institution, for example, in that case, we grade the motivation letter. Yeah, so the motivation letter in that case is crucial. Diana, did I reply to your questions? Great, thank you. Okay, Milan raised his hand.
Yeah, you said that the deadline for application is January for the applications for the first semester. But I would like to know, when is the deadline for you to decide who can go and who can't?
Well, firstly, the deadline for the first semester is not in January. We expect for the open call to be published in January, but what you need to know is that the open call is not published by FAMNIT itself, but is published by the project office of the University of Primorska. So there is nothing actually we can do. We can just wait for them to publish the open call. But given our conversation, it will be probably published sometime in January, and then it usually has 2 weeks of deadline to apply. After the deadline, after the applications are closed, we usually take a month or so to review all applications, to grade them, to make a meeting with the commission, and to inform you whether your application was accepted or not.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Vit raised his hand.
Yes, let's say we are accepted for exchange. What about accommodation? Is there some help offered, or we have to find it all ourselves? Or how is it with this?
It depends actually from institution to institution. Some institutions are able to offer you accommodation on their campus. Some of them offer you help with finding accommodation, or at least suggest you where to find accommodation. Otherwise, there is also a platform, Housing Anywhere, and there is basically a list of accommodations that students offer. So, for example, a student from Portugal is coming to Slovenia and lists his accommodation in Portugal as free. In that case, for example, if you are going to Portugal, you can take his accommodation for 1 semester. So it's basically exchange of beds between students.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. We have another question from Nicola.
Yes, it's a basic question. So the first step to applying is through SHIS, right? So you're going to notify us when the open call is open, and then we just go to SHIS and apply.
That's correct. When the open call is published, we usually inform you or publish it on our website. We publish it on the international news, or in Slovene it would be Mednarodno. We publish it on notifications for students. We publish it on the first site of the website, and we also send a notification through a referat that an open call was published. So in case you didn't apply yet, you can register for the news on the website so that you receive the mails and information in case we publish anything. But however, students usually don't miss the open call, because if you don't see our information, then probably some of your schoolmates did, and basically the information just spreads.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other students who would like to ask something? Okay, we are aware that I gave you a lot of information today, and a lot to think about, and a lot to check and inform and think and so on. But I suggest you to, first of all, take it easy, because until now we solved every problem our students have, and take advantage of these holidays and online learning and studying to explore your options, to check our agreements, to check institutions, to check what institutions offer, to check the offer of subjects abroad, as offer usually more or less stays the same. It can switch between semester, but the general idea what kind of subject the institution offers remains the same. Unfortunately, we are not able to accept you in person in our office, but please do not hesitate to write us an email with your question. We can also do an individual Zoom meeting with you. We can discuss your doubts. We can answer to your question. You can get in touch also through social media like Facebook, WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, whichever application you're using. And that's it. I would really like to encourage you to think, even though the current situation is not that optimistic, but taking into account that you have the option to go on an exchange. You can apply in case at the end you won't be able to go. You can still withdraw without any consequences. So I suggest to our students to apply in any case. At the end, if you will be able to go, you will go, and it will be a great experience. But in case you won't be able to go, you will be able to take advantage of the program in the next years. So in case you don't have any questions, I would end our meeting today.
Just one more thing. What happens if situations like this and we go at the beginning, but in the middle of our semester it becomes really worse? So can we go like just cancel it and come back, or are we like obligatory to stay that amount of time there?
No. The pandemic is a real challenge to all of us, to all institutions, and we try to be flexible at this point. We had students who went abroad in the second semester of the previous academic year, and they were facing really bad situation with coronavirus, and some of them decided to return home. So they were doing their exchange online. They still had the chance to listen to subjects online, distance learning, e-classrooms, and so on. And at the end, most of the institutions offered the exams online. So they were able to pass the subjects and, let's say, quite successfully finish their exchanges, while others decided that it's safer for them to remain abroad, and they finish the exchange abroad in the quarantine. So that's actually your own decision, what you want to do, if you want to stay abroad or if you want to return home.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have maybe an additional question here at the end? No. Okay. Then I would like to thank you all for joining this workshop. I am really happy to see all of those names who I hope are interested in doing an exchange abroad. Like I mentioned previously, if you have any question, any doubt, do not hesitate to contact us, and hopefully see you soon, but if not sooner, at the beginning of the second semester. Have a nice evening, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.